Welcome back to the 5-Star Life Show. I'm Coach Seth, joined with my co-host, Coach Mia, and we've got another amazing show for you today. If you have not tuned into our show, it's your first one, hit the subscribe button and you can go back and watch all of the shows we've had. We're trying to help you kick off 2021 with a bang. We want you to win big 5-star life. It's all about maximizing your life, your relationship, your finances, but specifically the last few shows we've been talking directly to parents, because parents, you make the world go round. You have so much influence. If you've ever wondered and felt powerless, like what can I do to change the world? If you have kids, that is your ticket to change the world and to change your world, your environment. So talking about how do you win with your kids? How do you create a connection with your kids? And one of the questions I want to ask, because I believe connecting is possible for all of us, but it comes down to making some sacrifices. What are you willing to sacrifice to form a better connection with your kids? And I know sacrifice is not a Western word we like.
No.
You know, in 5-star life, we define sacrifice as giving up something now for something better later on. And we want better now. We don't want to think about later. We don't want to think about giving stuff up. We want to gain stuff, right? This is the consumer nation, right? We consume things. We don't give stuff up. But in order to connect with your kids, like, what are you willing to sacrifice? And I think it's so important that, you know, as parents, you have vision and goals and dreams that you're pursuing, right? You're pursuing things so kids can see my mom, my dad, they're pursuing things. They're improving. They're getting better. They're going places. They're motivated. That's very important. But we've got to balance that with the pursuits of our children. And obviously, every parent wants the best for their kids, right? Everybody wants the best. When it's a pet peeve of mine, when I hear people bashing parents, oh man, these parents are terrible. Whether it's educators, coaches, you name it, but they bash parents. And I speak up and just say, listen, I have never met a parent that didn't want the very best for their child. Not one. Now, we're all at different levels of expertise. I'm French now. Expertise. But here's my point. We've got to make sacrifices. We've got to give some stuff up if we want to invest in our kids. And ultimately, what I've found is I've bonded and connected with my kids. You know, we talk about meal times, right? Creating margin and space. So what space and margin are you going to carve out for family time? If you don't create space, in a previous show we talked about mealtime, that's an intentional space that me and my wife create. Food. We're going to create margin. We're going to eat together. We don't do it every day, but we do it at least 3 or 4 nights a week. We eat dinner together. And on the weekends, we do Sunday brunch. So Sundays, I'm making waffles. I'm sacrificing my time to make waffles. And guess what? Everybody's in the kitchen because everybody wants waffles. Right. They're hanging out waiting for the next waffle to come off the iron. It's amazing how creating that margin and having something that attracts them like food, you have conversation about all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So creating margin, food time is big. But then a passion area. What are your kids passionate about? That's the second category that I connect with my kids the most. So for Kobe, he was doing our archery program last fall at Summit. So I would drive him out every week. So that road trip, we'd have 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. That car time, that's connection.
That's good. You know, I'm a stepmom. So when I married my husband, I was very intentional of allowing him to take the girls by himself so they could have that time. And you know what, and that built memories, and then he would do that. So then they would, you know, like Aubrey loved horses, so they would, you know, go up to the farm and ride horses. And so, but it's intentional. Gotta be intentional.
Yeah, and I know people that, we don't do this as a family, but I know other families that, you know, they do date nights, they do things like that, and that works wonderful for them. Everybody's got to find their thing, but I think the key is, you know, finding that margin and making sacrifices. Listen, winning as a family, winning with your kids, it may be hard, but it's simple. It just takes some consistency, and that's what we're here to help you. Just spark your memory. These are all things that you know how to do.
Right.
but we're just reminding you, right? And so create that margin, create that space, carve out some time, and it may mean though, sacrificing. I had to sacrifice basketball league. So I was in a Sunday night basketball league. I had to give that up because I just don't have time for all the things I used to have time for. So for some of you, it may be giving up a little bit of golf, a little bit of TV, a little bit of poker night, or it's starting to include your kids in some of those appropriate things you can include them in that age appropriate. So, but making sacrifices is one of the keys, and your kids, they recognize when you're making sacrifices. They see what you're doing, and it's a big deal.
It is. And my kids are older, and I have grandkids now, and it doesn't last forever. I think when you're in the moment, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss golf, It might be one time, you can go back next week. But cherish those moments, because you'll look back and see the growth and what happened in that time that you gave them.
Yeah, and sometimes, there's many a car ride, many margin moment that you're just like, why am I doing this? I think as a parent, you're not being honest with yourself if you haven't had that conversation with yourself. Like, is this really worth the investment I have in my kid right now? Like, we're not connecting. Matter of fact, we're arguing on the way there and back. There's more clashes because that's just a part of family life. So I think sometimes we psych ourselves up. We have this idea of connection always being perfect and Disney-esque and Disney music in the background. Well, sometimes it is the conflict, and sometimes it is just sitting there quietly for 20 minutes on end, just enjoying the car ride, right? But again, it takes quantity of time to find those nuggets where there's quality time, where you're making memories and developing a relationship. But there's something powerful. I don't have the research for this, but I'm sure it's out there. Just being in the presence of your children, there's something powerful about that. And when they know you're there, there's just something very comforting to them. So that's my tip for the week. I want you to connect with your kids like never before. And I want to pivot because I want to get your feedback, okay? I want to get some feedback on what you'd like us to talk about next, what questions you have as a parent. I've been working with kids for 25 years. If you have questions, you're in a situation with your kids and you're like, Coach Seth, can you please help me answer and address this topic? In the comment section, please comment, or you can reach out to me at Seth@5starlife.org. Send that information. I would love to hit you up. I would love to do a show specifically that addresses some of those things. It's going to be making us better, more dynamic. The other thing I want to say is this. Get ready, because we have some resources that we're going to be rolling out for parents. If you would be interested in doing a pilot with our rollout, we want to start gathering people that are interested in this. But basically what we're looking at is we've been listening to parents for the last 10 months, and parents have been saying, okay, I'm fully woke. Now I need the resources. Like, I want to help my kids with their mental health. I want to help them make good decisions. I want to help them get rid of the fear and the anxiety. How can you equip me to do that? What can I do to be better as a parent? So we're developing some resources, some tools, and we'll be offering those soon.
And we're out of time.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.